Hello folks, welcome back. In this tutorial, I will do a simple example for illustrating the batch apex. So in this, you can see that these are my existing accounts records that I have. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and update the account name and add some star characters after these names. So let's say you have multiple records and assume that there are more than the limit. So we're going to go ahead and create a batch process to go ahead and pick up all the account names and add the letter or the stars at end of those names. So let's go back to the setup, and I think I already have it open, so I'll go up here and you need to go ahead and create in simple apex class, and this particular class, let me name it as batch account update. Click OK here. So this class needs to implement the batchable interface. So I'll say implements now this particular interface has three methods that you need to go ahead and implement. So this one has to be a global class because we're going to go ahead and execute outside. So we're going to say it as a global class. And if you look at, there is a problem here because it asks you to implement the star method and update method, etc. So you need to go ahead and execute this, implement the start method. So we're going to go ahead and say global query locator. This is the start method. So I wanted to go ahead and select all the account records. So I'll say select ID comma name from the account table, and I wanted to go ahead and return the database dot of get query locator, and the query that I wanted to go ahead is this query. So I'll go up here. This is the query that I wanted to go ahead and execute. So this particular query is going to go ahead and pick up all the account records. Now, once I get all the account records, I need to go ahead and provide the definition of the execute method. And this is how the definition looks like. So we're going to go ahead. So it takes this database batchable context and a list. So these are the two different arguments that this particular method takes. So I'm going to go ahead and provide the definition for this method. So I'll say global void execute database dot of batchable context BC, and it needs the list that we have received from the start object, from the start method. So we go up here, the account, and this is the scope. So for all these accounts, what you want to do, so I wanted to go ahead and update the account name. So I'm going to go ahead and run a for loop, and I'll say for all the accounts that are there, go through each of these accounts and update the name of those accounts and append the stars at the end of those. So you wanted to go ahead and append the stars after the name of each account. So this particular query is going to return you all the accounts that are existing, and this execute method will be called, and it'll also have the list of all the accounts, and you're adding the stars at the end of these names. And then I'm going to go ahead and say update the scope. So this is my execute method, and I also need to provide the definition for the finish method. I don't have anything to do, so I'll just keep it empty here. So I'll say global void finish, and this takes about one parameter called database dot of batchable context. So you can go here and you can say here batchable context. So I'll repeat one more time. So in this batch operation, this particular class needs to implement this database.batchable object. And this particular interface has three different methods: start, execute, and finish. Start is the method that will get executed before the batch process runs. So it picks up all the records that it needs to pick up. And the execute is the method that will basically perform the operation on that particular record. So in this particular batch process, I'm changing the name and I'm adding these stars at the end of each name that I'm going to get it. So once I go ahead and click save, since there are no errors, I will be able to save it, and then I'm going to go ahead and execute this block of code. So how will I run this? To run this particular program, I just say this particular class. And since this is the method of that particular, so I'm going to go ahead and create an object of this particular class. This is the way to create an object. And then I wanted to go ahead and call this method called execute batch. And in this execute batch, I will provide the reference variable, or you can say the object of this particular batch process. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and execute. So this ran the program, and let's see if the account's description got changed or not. So we'll just go ahead and refresh all the accounts. So if you look at it, it has added those star characters at the end of each record. So this is what the batch process has done. So please go ahead and execute the same steps and you will be able to see the same results. I hope you liked it, and thank you so much.